Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 5th chapter, entitled Vidura's Talks with Maitreya. Text number 27. Tato bhavan mahattattvam avyaktat kalachoditat vijnanatmatmadehastham vishvam vyanjam stanonudaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Thereafter, influenced by the interactions of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter called the Mahatattva became manifested, and in this Mahatattva, the unalloyed goodness, the Supreme Lord, sowed the seeds of universal manifestation out of His own body. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In due course of time, the impregnated material energy was manifested first as the total material ingredients. Everything takes its own time to fructify, and therefore the word Kala Choditat, influenced by time, is used herein. The Mahatattva is the total consciousness because a portion of it is represented in everyone as the intellect. The Mahatattva is directly connected with the supreme consciousness of the Supreme Being, but still it appears as matter. The Mahatattva or shadow of pure consciousness is the germinating place of all creation. It is pure goodness with the slight addition of the material mode of passion, and therefore activity is generated from this point. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So here it is mentioned the further progress in the creation, Kala Choditat, in due course of time, the material energy has manifested Tato Abhavan Mahatattvam. It has manifested what is known as Mahatattva. Mahat means supreme, Tattvam, the sum total, are the supreme principles of matter. Avyaktat, although it is matter, it is still unmanifested. Matter also has these two divisions, the matter which is manifested to our senses, our perception, and the matter which is unmanifest, although it is matter. Of course, spirit is always unmanifest to our material senses. So, Avyaktat Kala Choditat. So, Prabhupada is saying in the purport that everything takes time to fructify. So, in the material world, this factor has to be considered. Kala has to be considered. Kala Choditat. Everything takes time. In the spiritual world, you have a desire. Immediately, it is fulfilled. That is spiritual world. But in the material world, you have a desire, but it takes time. Kala Choditat. That Kala has to be considered. Then, Mahatattvam, first came is Mahatattva. The ingredients came. Like we have discussed in the previous classes, Maya manifests in two ways. One is supplying the ingredients, and one more is a mechanism to manipulate these ingredients into various manifestations. We can pile up the ingredients and construct a house, construct a car, construct a mobile, but basic ingredients are now manifested in the form of Mahatattvam, the original matter. Matter in its primordial state is called Pradhana or Mahatattva. So, ultimately, although these manifestations are there, whole matter can be, traced to a primordial state called Pradhana. That's why many scientists they propose this, that everything is coming from one single molecule, one single particle. Actually, it's a fact. Whole matter ultimately becomes pradhana, the avyaktat, unmanifested form. But what they do not know is that matter cannot animate without the presence of the consciousness, without the presence of the soul. Matter cannot animate. For example, a body is there, a young man or a young girl, and they look very active, bubbling with energy and desires, and full of ambitions, full of aspirations. But as soon as that boy or girl dies, all those features are still intact, because the death has happened just now. All those features are still intact, but you see there is no animation in the body. The body starts animating only when there is consciousness. So this is a very simple thing to understand. But the scientists feel even this animating force, that is consciousness, is also made up of matter. That's also coming from matter only. So that's why they think everything, both conscious or the matter, both these energies, they think ultimately can be reduced to one single particle, which is actually a false conclusion. Here we can see Vijnana Atmadehastam Vishwam Venjam Stamonuda. The Lord has injected these seeds of consciousness, that means the souls, has injected the living entities into this matter. So, the living entities are coming from God, they are not coming from matter. They are just been injected into matter. Matter is still evolving. How can living entity be matter then? Living entities are existing even before matter manifested. They are existing in the body of Mahavishnu. Only when he glanced, then the living entities came, and into the matter they are merged, they are injected. So this is, we can see in the last few classes, this is the clarity that Bhagavatam is bringing. The living entities are not matter, they cannot be reduced to a material particle. They are different energies of the Supreme Lord. So, here Prabhupada reveals some interesting aspects of Mahatattva. He says, Mahatattva is the total consciousness because a portion of it is represented in everyone as the intellect. So, Mahatattva is the total consciousness. Now, what is this total consciousness? Here it is mentioned, the Mahatattva is directly connected with the supreme consciousness of the Supreme Being, but still it appears as matter. Mahatattva, or shadow of pure consciousness, is germinating place of all creation. Let us try to understand this. So Prabhupada is saying Mahatattva is actually a shadow of pure consciousness. If you see the elements that we see in this world, like Bhumi, Apaha, water, Anala, fire, and then air, and then ether, if you see these elements, or you take the subtle elements, mind, intelligence and ego, they are also called shadow elements. They are shadow of the original elements in the spiritual world. This entire world is a shadow world or an imitation world. Spiritual world is the real world. This is an imitation world. Imitation means the concepts are taken from the spiritual world, but using those concepts, an imitation world is created. For example, in our childhood, I'm sure most of us would have played this game of father and mother. We will harass the father that no, we want to play father-mother game. So the father would give a mini world. He'll give a little house, there's a little kitchen, little vessels, and then there is a train, and if there some people are rich, they will have aeroplanes. All imitation. Using the concepts which are there in the regular world, the concepts are same. But the actual world that is given to the child is an imitation world, a tiny imitation world. So, for example, the train is there. It goes into a thing, and then it comes onto the platform. So the train is there, but actually it is a tiny toy. It's not the real train. Everybody knows. It's just an imitation. So similarly, this material world is also made up of some material in order to imitate the spiritual world. For example, the toys are all made up of, say, a big house is given. The child has a big house, but that is made up of some plastic. Father's house is made up of concrete, cement, and all, permanent, or at least according to them. So similarly, for the child's play, Krishna has created the original matter that is called Mahatattva. He created the original matter. It's not the matter which is available. There is no matter there in the spiritual world, which is not the thing which is there in the spiritual world. In spiritual world, everything is made up of Chintamani, Prakarasadmasu, Kalpavruksha. So everything is, the houses are built on Chintamani, bricks of Chintamani. They are all conscious. In one sense, you can say conscious matter. So they are all conscious. But when Krishna is trying to fulfill the child's desires, the living entities who want to play the role of Krishna, father-mother game, then for them, Krishna has created this world, but he has not created with Chintamani Prakarasadmasu. He has not used the same material. He has created an imitation material, a shadow material called Mahatattva. Here you can see Mahatattva is the shadow of pure consciousness. In spiritual world, everything is made up of consciousness, but this world, Krishna has created a shadow of that consciousness. It's a different material, appears to be matter, and using that, the whole thing has been constructed. We will see in the next verses how that Mahatattva further divides itself into 24 elements, and then we have varieties to manifest whatever we want, of course according to destiny. So coming back to, this is an important thing. Krishna has, by design, Krishna decided that this world should not be permanent, by design. Is not, for example, parents go to beach and children, they want to play. They're playing always. And they construct house in the sand and everything, they construct. The parents never want that to be permanent. Because after all, He has to go to the school next day. He has to grow, he has to do so many things. Right? The parents know it's all child's play, it has to be temporary. No, this is the first design principle. Krishna has decided that this child's play should end, should have a beginning and should have an end. So towards that end, he has created a certain material, a original matter that's called Mahatattva. It is not pure consciousness because pure consciousness is eternal. Everything in the spiritual world is eternal, permanent. So that's why he created an imitation pure consciousness, and that imitation is called Mahatattva. This is the original shape of the matter in this world. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying, interestingly, this Mahatattva is the total consciousness because a portion of it is represented in everyone as the intellect. Now let us see how to understand this in the 13th chapter. Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, Arjuna asks this question. He says, Kshetra, Prakrutim Purusham Chaiva, Kshetram Kshetrajnameva cha, Etad Veditum Ichchami. Arjuna says, I want to understand Kshetram, the field of activity. I want to understand. Veditum Ichchami, I want to know. Now, Kshetra means field of activity. For the living entity, the field of activity is the body. Krishna straight away answers that. He says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Idam Shariram Kaunteya, Kshetram idi abhidiyate. He says, what is this Kshetra? Idam Shariram. This body is the Kshetra. Now, this body contains what? According to modern anatomical studies, it has been described in a certain way. Some blood, urine, mucus and this. Ayurveda describes in a certain way. But here, Krishna explains that this body has these elements. What are they? Mahabhutana hankaro, buddhir avyaktamevacha, indriyani dashaikamcha, pancha chendriya gocharai. He is explaining what is this field of activity. See, field of activity will refer to two things. One is this body itself is field of activity, and also this entire world is also field of activity. You take any field of activity, they are made up of these 24 elements. So, whether you take universal body or our body, both are made up of these 24 elements. And what are they? Mahabhutani, the great elements, the 5 great elements. Then ahankara, false ego, buddhi, intelligence, avyaktamevacha. Now here is the secret. Krishna is saying there is something called unmanifested element is also present in the body. Avyaktam evacha, indriyani dashaikam cha, there are 10 senses. And then pancha, indriya gochara, there are 5 sense objects. So 10 senses, 5 sense objects, 15. And then ahankara, buddhi, that is, and then the mind, that is 3, 15 plus 3, 18, Mahabhutani, 5, 23, Avyaktam. 24th element is Avyaktam. So what Krishna is saying is, in our body also there is an unmanifest matter. That means in this body, everything cannot be understood. You can understand manifest matter. By your senses, you can understand the manifest matter. But Krishna is revealing here that there is unmanifest matter also. And what is the unmanifest matter? That is Mahatattva. That means a little piece of Mahatattva is there in each and every body. There is a little piece. That's what Prabhupada is saying here in the purport. Mahatattva is the total consciousness, because a portion of it, let me say a little portion of Mahatattva, is represented in everyone. It is present in everyone as intellect. Of course, we understand that last portion. So, what is the important thing is, this Kshetra also contains unmanifest matter. Mahatattva is there. A little piece of it is there. And in the purport, Prabhupada is saying here, consciousness is represented by intelligence, of which the unmanifest stage is the three modes of material nature. The unmanifested three modes of material nature is called Pradhana. Here also, Mahatattva or Pradhana. The difference is that Pradhana is the original form of the matter, and if the three modes are visible, then it is called Mahatattva. But it is still the original matter. So Prabhupada is saying here, it is represented by intelligence. Here also you can see here, he is saying it is represented in everyone as the intellect. So if the Mahatattva is represented by intelligence, then why one more element is called intelligence? Buddhi. Kam mano buddhi revacha. Manaha buddhi. So this dilemma is resolved in the third canto. Lord Kapila explains that the subtle body contains mind, intelligence and ego, which we all know, but he also adds one more. He says, subtle body contains mind, intelligence, ego and contaminated consciousness. That means what we know as the subconscious is actually the contaminated consciousness. The subconscious portion of the subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego, they have a subconscious portion, and that portion is called the contaminated consciousness or Mahatattva or the unmanifest matter. So it is a fact that there is a subconscious matter is there. That is also matter only, but it is unmanifest. That's why when you will see modern scientists are unable to figure out what this subconscious is. Although they know, they try to manipulate some kind of hypnotism, and there are some methodologies they are evolving in order to manipulate this subconscious mind, intelligence and ego. So mainly it is represented as the subconscious portion of the intellect. That's why Prabhupada is saying in everyone as the intellect. So Mahatattva is the original matter. Already the three departments are evolving. We will see in the next verses. Each department will manifest their own parts, and everything put together will be 24. From goodness, certain things comes out for that department. For example, mind comes from goodness. So we will see all that. So everything put together is 24. But this is the original. So this Mahatattva, which is present in everyone, particularly as the subconscious portion, it records all our conscious activities. Everything that we think, our vasanas, our desires, our activities will be recorded by this little piece. It's like a chip. A little chip is kept in each robo. We're all caught up in these robos, and this is like a little chip which has been kept there. and it records all your actions, your desires, everything. It's gone recording. So it's a conscious matter in the sense shadow consciousness. It records all the conscious things, whatever you are doing, whatever you are thinking, where you are trying to get your happiness. Consciousness has three portions. Again, we know Sat, Chit and Ananda. So that Sat and Chit and Ananda is perverted here as three modes, and those three modes gets recorded in the Mahatattva. Our actions in the three modes, they get recorded. That's why sometimes it is called that the dust of the mirror of the mind, these are the words that are used. Dust is there like that. Sometimes this dust is called three modes. What is this mirror of the mind? Actually, it's called Cheta. Cheta refers to this consciousness, shadow consciousness. So that Cheta has to be purified. It's not sufficient if you purify that's the mind. There is a subconscious portion. The Cheta is there. And that has to be purified. Purified of what? These three modes. Because the Cheta is continuously recording your activities in the three modes. Whether you do, and three modes, very simple to understand. If you are only thinking of, say, creation of some matter, creation of a child, creation of this, creation of that, your thinking is predominantly in passion. And let us say you are thinking of maintenance and this and that. Your thinking is predominantly sattvic. And if you are thinking of some destroying this and then creation something, destruction, that is ignorance. If your thinking is only these three, creation, maintenance and destruction, they are like dust on the consciousness, because consciousness wants to think in a different way. Consciousness thinking is permanent, it wants to be permanent, it wants to be happy, it wants to be fully in knowledge, but instead it is thinking of matter. Matter thinking, either in Satuguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, that is called dust. That dust has to be removed. So that's why Mahaprabhu has given a simple formula. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Cheto Dharpana Marjana. That Cheta, Dharpana, is like a TV screen inside, and you are watching. And when you are watching, there is a dust on the screen. You are unable to see your own nature clearly. Your nature is to be conscious, permanent, enjoying all those. That is not visible clearly because of the dust. For example, after you have a bath, let us say you go in front of the mirror. Mirror is dusty, and you see, looks like there is one bulge here, but actually it's not there. It is a problem of the dust on the mirror. And you think, oh, there is a bulge. Immediately you will think of a doctor, you will think of some medicine. But actually, nothing, there is no problem for you. Originally the soul has no issues. Asangoyam. It is not disturbed by any of this. But it is looking into the mirror. On the mirror there is a dust, and it is thinking, oh, I am this, I am a product of passion, I am a product of sattvaguna, I am a product of ignorance. Or a combination of all these things. We are thinking like that, and we are behaving like that. So when we start chanting, that dust gets cleared, and then you can see yourself as servant of Krishna. Oh, I am a servant of Krishna. And then our devotional activities will start. So that's why before chanting, not easy to understand Bhagavad Gita or concept that I am a servant of the Lord. Not possible. But so because we are chanting, we'll be able to understand these concepts. So here it is said, shadow of pure consciousness. Yes, spiritual world is fully conscious, and a shadow of it is being made into Mahatattva, and using that Mahatattva you will see various other elements will be created. And that's why Prabhupada is saying here, shadow of pure consciousness is the germinating place of all creation. That is the beginning for all the other creations. You will see next 24 elements will come out from this. Germinating place means generates. The Mahatattva generates. It comes out, and Prabhupada is also saying a little bit of passion has been added so that the activity starts. So we will see what is that activity in the next few verses. Before we conclude, since this shadow consciousness, this piece of unmanifest peace, this chip is recording everything, we should be very careful what we put it inside. The social media has given access to all kinds of rubbish, and if you keep putting content which is in mode of tamoguna or content which is in mode of passion, you are taking dust inside. Any content in the modes is called dust. So if you go, let us say you watched one video, a YouTube video which is in passion or which is in ignorance, you are deliberately putting so much of dust into your chip which is recording silently. Now to take it out, how many rounds you have to chant? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. That's why be careful about what you put inside. It will not go away so easily. So that's why devotees always Nityam Bhagavata. Prabhupada in one place he says Nityam means 24 hours. So you chant, or you study Bhagavatam, or you focus on service. Keep yourself busy in Krishna. Krishna is the only solution to, is the purifier. Krishna is the purifying agent. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So if you add Krishna, then consciousness becomes purified. It becomes Krishna consciousness. Very technical why Prabhupada called this moment as Krishna conscious moment. Krishna is the purifying ingredient. So when you add that, then everything becomes purified. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We say many times Mahatattva is having 24 elements, Prabhu. But if you take like that, our entire body is Mahatattva only. But we are saying only portion of Mahatattva in the body.
Yes. If you see the original matter point of view, everything is coming from Mahatattva, so everything is Mahatattva. But we'll see, the Mahatattva doesn't remain there as the original matter. It comes out into various varieties. For example, when you switch on a computer, operating system comes up, and then let us say it gives you a menu of a dozen varieties of say colors are there or something like that. Then you take one color and you create one more, right? You see, no, in the operating system there is a variegatedness is given. So similarly, when Mahatattva starts, it gives you 24 options. 24th is actually the unmanifest matter, Mahatattva itself. So what is coming from Mahatattva, those varieties, they are also there, and Mahatattva itself is there as a little portion. You understood? Unmanifest matter itself is there. Red, blue and yellow, let us say the three are there, and you mix all the three and you created some grey. Using grey you created one nice scenario, right? So it's all grey. But in that you can put the original three colors also, red, blue, yellow, you can put there also. Similarly, Mahatattva is the original matter. That matter itself comes, and Mahatattva transforms into this Mahabhutani, Ahankaro, all those things. And those elements are also present in our body. Okay? So, transformation is also considered. Transformation of energy is Vaishnava philosophy. So, Mahatattva gets transformed into varieties, many varieties. 5 elements and this and that. We use those 5 elements and we create more varieties. This is how the life is. And in this world, customization costs a lot. Let us say somebody gives you a product. Now let us say you say we want customization. Will it cost? Somebody from IT background, customization always costs. So similarly, if you take the original, what Krishna has given, simple living, high thinking, there is no problem. But if you want big buildings and big roads and you want to customize for your own this thing, then manasastan indriyani karshati, you have to work hard. Lot of cost will be there. Any customization you want to do, you have to pay a lot of money, lot of energy, a lot of cost is involved. But let us say you mold your life towards the natural way, the way Krishna created. Simple living, farming, cow-based agriculture, grains and cows are the wealth. Whether you get into that mode, no hard work. Actually in villages and all, no, they will not have any hard work like that. Sometimes when we are going to the, some pilgrimage place, Ahobilam, we somehow going through the villages, by afternoon I think, the cooking is over, everything is over, all these ladies and children, they'll all come out, they sit there, and they keep watching. People who are going, coming, they'll be watching. Because, their works are over, they're free, and they'll be, they sit peacefully, and then they go on watching, coming here, there. Now, where is that luxury? The luxury is there because they have not customized anything. They just put some little house, not much work is there, and then happily live. Now you create a big, huge skyscraper. There's some big team of maintenance is required, big team of all those things. Now it's a hard work. So that's why Prabhupada says, simple living, high thinking. That is the problem. Yeah, any other? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.